Hello class, once again, welcome back in our online discussion in this course, Fundamentals in Food Service Operations. So in a previous lecture, we discussed about the how to handle guest complaints. And there are several guidelines that we need to follow. And for this specific lecture, we'll discuss about referring complaints. So we need to refer the complaints to the higher authority or to the external group of people. So again, not all complaints can be handled by yourself, but there are also complaints that we need to refer to the other person. Again, handling guest complaints, there are different kinds of complaints. And there are complaints that you can resolve in your capacity, as I have mentioned a while ago, and can also resolve in your scope of authority. So for example, there are certain problems that is under by your authority or under your rules and or duties and responsibilities. But there are also complaints that you cannot able to handle because it is beyond your authority or scope of your authority, or it is beyond of your capacity. So what you are going to do if it is beyond to your capacity and beyond to your scope of authority, you need to refer to the executive management or higher position or to the external body. So we need to answer this question: when to refer complaints, about the time when to refer complaints. So it is advised that the complaints is referred to the appropriate person. So we need to refer the complaints to the appropriate person. If you will refer the complaints to the person that is not appropriate, so there's a big possibility or tendency that the complaints will not be addressed and it cannot be solved. So we need to consider the right timing and also the right person. Okay. So when to refer complaints? When the complaints involves various matters such as death, assault, and theft. So you cannot able to handle anymore about if there's a um, serious matters in terms of death, assaults, and theft. So we need to refer it to the right person, especially on the higher authority. And I think if it is talk about death and assault and theft, we need to refer to the external body. And also, we need to refer to the appropriate person when the mastery of skills, knowledge, and equipment is required. Okay, it is required as evidence such as financial statements, bank records, and security surveillance equipment. So, for example, if there's a guest complaining on a certain things and we cannot able to, you can know that you cannot able to provide a solution on that complaints. So, what we are going to do is we need to refer to the person that have a mastery of skills on that area. Okay, so for example, there's a guest who will complain about the example in the dispenser because the dispenser is not uh, working well in the hot part of the water. So you need to refer to the, for example, in the engineering department, that you will call the engineering department to repair the dispenser. We can also provide a new dispenser if we have a stock in our establishment. So we need to refer to the person that has a mastery of that particular skills. So if, for example, if there's a problem on the equipment, if we are just a waiter, we should not, you know, repair that because we don't have enough skills, we don't have enough equipment to repair that equipment also. So we need to refer to the person that has a skills and knowledge on that particular problem. And also we need to refer to the appropriate person when the situation is causing disruption in the operation and discomfort to the other guests. If you can notice that the other guests were not comfortable on the particular situation, so we need to refer this one to the higher authority. And if there's also a disruption, if the operations of the business is already disrupted, so we need to refer to the higher position. And also when there is a threat to your safety and the well-being of others, so you need to refer it to the approved person as soon as possible. So we need to take note on that, because we believe on the sayings like prevention is better than cure. So we need to, you know, refer this problem as soon as possible if it is threatening our safety, not just our own safety, but also the safety or well-being of others. So these are the right timing when we refer the complaints to the appropriate person. And now let's proceed to the guidelines for referring complaints. So there are certain guidelines that we need to follow. First, this is really important. We need to do it quickly, as soon as possible, especially if we have threats with our safety and also the well-being of others. We need to do it quickly. We should not wait if there's anything that will happen that will worst happening worst on this particular situation. So we need to do it quickly or as soon as possible. And also we need to refer the complaints to the appropriate person. So we should be able to understand. That is why, again, in our previous lecture, we discussed about the organizational structure. So it is important as an employee of the establishment that we need to memorize who are the person, um, the right person in the organizational structure. For example, in the clinic, we should able to know who is assigned on the clinic, who is assigned in the engineering department, who is assigned in the security department. So we need to have these details so that if there's anything problem arise in the establishment, we can refer to the appropriate person. So we can easily refer to the appropriate person, because if we will refer to the person that is not appropriate, didn't have skills or enough knowledge to solve the problem or the complaints. Lastly, we need to provide complete and clear details of the complaints. That is why it is important that we need to take note, we need to remember the clear details. In our previous lecture, we discussed about the importance of um, thanking the guests for raising the complaints, and we need to listen attentively to his or her complaints. And if we have any doubts or questions, we need to ask the guest and clarify something so that we have the clear details. So that when we refer to the right person, all the details were clear and appropriate. So that if, for example, the appropriate person or referred person have a follow-up question, we can able to answer the follow-up question without asking again the guest. Okay, so we need to have a clear details and complaints. That is why in the next lecture we will discuss about the how to record the details of the complaint. We need to record the details of the complaint. And lastly, explain to the concerned guest that the matter will be referred to a higher authority, and inform the concerned guest to whom the complaint will be referred to. So we need to update the guest that the complaints were referred to the higher authority. For example, excuse me ma'am, excuse me sir, your complaint were already raised and I refer it to the appropriate person because they have these, um, it is under scope of authority, so they can able to solve this problem. So you need to update the guest that you refer the problem or the complaints to the higher authority, so they will have confidence that their complaint will be addressed. And also we need to inform who is the appropriate person or the higher authority that we referred the complaints. For example, your problem was referred, excuse me, ma'am, sir, your problem was referred to Mr. and Miss. He is our blank. He is our, he's the in charge of this particular department. So we should not only tell the guest that the concern was referred to the higher authority, but we need also to inform the guest who is the referred person, who is the appropriate person, who is the person that you are asking to asking help to solve the complaints or problem. So you need to mention the name and also mention the department. So this is the importance of referring guest complaints. If it is beyond our scope of authority or it's beyond of our um, capacity. Again, in the next lecture, we will discuss about the importance of recording details of the complaints. We need to take note, and we will discuss what are the areas or what are the things that we need to remember in taking down notes or recording the details of the complaints, because it will be useful in the future decision if we have a revision of the standards, so that we will improve our operations and services, so that our guests will be satisfied and they will return to our establishment and our income will, you know, increasing. So thank you for listening, and don't forget to answer the evaluation quiz. Bye bye.